How's everyone doing today? Are you proud that you're making history today? Are you proud that as right now, as U.S. bombs and missiles are falling on people in the Middle East and in North Africa, that you are here in the streets standing against it? Are you proud of that, sisters and brothers? Well, it's not just about today. It's about tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day of fighting and organizing and working together and bringing these criminal wars to an end. Now, 8 years ago, sisters and brothers, 8 years ago, I stepped foot in Iraq in March of 2003 because we were told by this government that it was in our national security interests that the people of Iraq wanted to be liberated. Well, 8 years later, there's over 1 million Iraqis who have been killed, more who have been wounded, 5 million refugees, an entire generation of children, of young people, of students who will be psychologically traumatized for the rest of their lives, for the shock and awe, and for the slaughter that was imposed upon them. Almost 5,000 soldiers were dead. Tens of thousands came home in wheelchairs. 1,500 soldiers have died in Afghanistan alone. Now, what are these wars about?
Bullshit!
Yeah. That is right.
Yeah.
We have to be clear. The war in Afghanistan, just like the war in Iraq, is not about building democracy. It's not about keeping us safe here at home. It's about controlling oil and natural gas reserves for billions of dollars in profits for a couple of billionaires sitting at the top. Now, if U.S. soldiers on the front lines in Afghanistan or in the bunkers in Iraq, if you took a poll and you said, how many of you have parents who are CEOs in oil companies? How many of you own stock in the defense contractors? Sisters and brothers, the answer would be 0. When the rich want to make a war, they use the people who can't afford to go to college, who can't get a job, who can't have a place to live, who can't have health care for their children. That's who they use. And that's why we say that everyone in the military has the right to refuse to fight in Iraq and Afghanistan. And right now on stage are veterans of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. On stage right now are people in the active duty Army, the active duty Marines, who are refusing their orders to fight in order to start standing against the war machine. And this happens because of people like you, because you come out to the streets, and because you show that there's another way. And the more you stand up and resist, the more soldiers will stand up and resist too. They tell us these wars are for national security, to control these countries in the Middle East. When we say national security to the billionaires and the millionaires is a different national security than we think it is. We think it's a national security issue that there's tens of millions of families in the Midwest that are going to have their heat shut off this winter. That's a national security issue. It's a national security issue that over 1 million school children a year are homeless, that live with their families in their cars. That's a national security issue. But this government, all they will do is lie and lie and lie, so your tax dollars and your family members go to fight these wars. And what do they do when we tell the truth? Who knows who Bradley Manning is? Who here thinks Bradley Manning is a hero? He is a hero because he told the truth. When all we have gotten is lies, he is telling the truth. We are telling the truth today, and that is what's going to end these wars. Now, there are those who have said, I've heard it a million times, that protesting doesn't work.
Yeah, right.
That we should look to the politicians. That we should vote. That protesting doesn't do anything. That taking to the streets don't do anything. Well, now, sisters and brothers, we have a one-word response for that. Egypt! Egypt! Egypt showed us that it's the people that have the power. The politicians have nothing. Even the most entrenched rule of the rich, with a brutal police force, with billions of dollars in military fundings, this most entrenched billionaire dictatorship, they could not last 2 weeks when the people took to the streets and demanded change. Now we know that this government is on just as fragile as ground as the Mubarak regime, that they are losing the war in Afghanistan, that they will never succeed in Iraq, and the more they continue these wars, the more they attack our rights, our benefits, our education here at home. So the power in Washington and in the Pentagon, their power, like Mubarak's, is teetering on the edge. And we want it to fall. But it doesn't fall unless you hit it. And today we're hitting it. And we're going to hit it again and again and again until it falls, till the real war criminals in jail. And then when it falls, that's when we can build something new, sisters and brothers. So stay involved in this movement, because this is a movement that will win. Now, really briefly, we're going to hear from a couple more people. I just want to say that we're from an organization called March Forward, an organization of veterans and active duty soldiers organizing against the wars all over the country, in the military, on the front lines. And we're going to hear from a couple of our members right now. So first, it's going to be Kevin Baker, 28 months in Iraq, just got out of the military. Let's welcome Kevin.